Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Tillman with another Tillman's Take. Now, today I want to break down a video or a situation that comes to you from my neck of the woods, San Bernardino County, involving the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, where they're involved in a pursuit that led to a gun battle, and then at the end of it, a suspect and a 15-year-old girl are dead. And so when this first came out, a lot of people were criticizing deputies because they shot a 15-year-old girl who was believed to be the victim of a kidnapping. And so a lot of people were like, how would deputies even do that? So what I want to do today is I'm going to give you guys full context to this situation, and then we'll talk about whether or not it was right or wrong. So do me a favor, stick around. Let's get into it.
Ryan Tillman, real talk, it's the truth.
All right, guys, now as we get into this video, what I want to do first is I want you guys to kind of understand a little bit of backstory and context. This guy on the left is a suspect of this whole situation. This girl on the right, she's also a suspect of this situation. This is a 15-year-old girl who was initially the victim of a kidnapping. And so what happened was there was a incident in Fontana where the gentleman here gunned down his wife, who he's having issues with. He guns her down in front of the house, and then he leaves with his 15-year-old daughter seen in this picture as well. So a lot of people believe that the girl was kidnapped just based on the information at the time. So they believe that she was kidnapped, and Fontana PD creates an Amber Alert situation. So that way, you know, people can notify authorities if they see the vehicle that the suspect fled in. So sure enough, somebody locates the vehicle in the Victorville area, or actually the Barstow area, I believe it is. And once they locate the vehicle, they call the authorities, and then the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department respond out and try to detain it. Once they go to try to conduct that traffic stop on it, the pursuit is on, and they get into this crazy pursuit, whereas while they're in the pursuit, suspect from the vehicle starts shooting at police officers. So now the situation just got that much more dangerous because they have somebody that's actively trying to hurt them. At the end of the pursuit, the passenger, believed to be the daughter, the girl, the 15-year-old girl, she exits the vehicle and starts to approach police officers. And when she starts to approach police officers, it's not like she's coming to say, hey, come save me, come help me, come get me away. She's actually gets out of the car with ballistic vest on, ballistic helmet on, all this other stuff. And the deputies don't know any better. So they view this as a threat, as they should have. And they ended up shooting and striking her, I believe. And so the suspect, the main suspect, the guy on the left, he was pronounced dead on scene. She was actually transported to an area hospital where she was later pronounced dead. Let's watch the news take on this first, and then we can kind of break down the situation a little bit more to determine whether or not the actions of the deputy were right or the actions of the deputies are wrong. Let's watch the news break.
The teenage girl and her fugitive father, who were killed during a police shootout in Hesperia yesterday. The Sheriff's Department now saying the girl took part in shooting at deputies.
Earlier, the father had gunned down his estranged wife, the girl's mother. Inland Empire reporter Leticia Juarez joins us live now with more on this new information, disturbing information. Leticia?
Very disturbing. Just moments ago, we heard from San Bernardino County Sheriff Dicus revealing some new information about that investigation into the shootout with his deputies, telling us for the first time that 15-year-old girl who was the subject of the Amber Alert was a willing and active participant in the shooting during that high-speed chase with his deputies. Kelly Lane knelt before a memorial of flowers and candles where Anthony Graziano shot and killed his estranged wife Tracy Martinez. Lane says he knew the family was struggling.
They were going through separation, divorce, and just life's everyday life was getting heavy on him.
Fontana police say Graziano and Martinez were going through a divorce and that he left the couple's home a month or two prior with their 15-year-old daughter, Savannah. They say the two had been living out of his truck and in motels.
She was a sweet kid. She was her daddy's little girl.
Graziano and his daughter were shot and killed following a gun battle with authorities in Hesperia on Tuesday. Questions remain about the 15-year-old's role in the shootout.
Based on the information, evidence suggests that Savannah Graziano was a participant in shooting at our deputies.
Police issued an Amber Alert after Graziano killed the mother of his children on Monday, but it's still not clear if the teen went willingly or was forced to leave with her father. Fontana police say they found her younger brother at home unharmed.
Good kids, they were just in a broken home is all. there's no excuse for what he did. I can never justify it, but it didn't have to end that way.
According to investigators, Martinez was in Graziano's truck when they started to argue. She then got out, and that's when Graziano opened fire. Many, like Carrie Snow, were walking children to school at the time.
I hadn't hit my snooze alarm, we would have been on this corner, so. And with all the bullets going by, it would have, who knows what would have happened, because we were literally right here.
And I was just really surprised, like, because it's not really violent like that over here. So for somebody to do something like that, it's just horrible.
So one thing I want to touch on first and foremost is there's a lot of parties that are affected by this tragedy. Obviously the deputies, no doubt about it. Some of these deputies were shot at. I think one of them had a little bit of damage from the shrapnel. But more importantly, emotionally, they're probably affected, because at the end of the day, whether or not it's a 15-year-old that was probably killed by one of their bullets. And that's hard to process, because even though she was shooting at them, even though she was a threat to them, it's probably hard for those deputies, because a lot of what people don't realize is, as police officers, even though we have a job to do, it doesn't make it that much easier when we do our job. And what I mean by that is, like, processing these things, it's still hard to take another human's life. So I want to start there just simply because it's sad for the deputies emotionally, but it's also sad for the girl, a 15-year-old girl. Now, there's no excuse in my book at all for trying to shoot or take another person's life. So, and another thing to realize is that if a 15-year-old girl, and I've even said this before, that there is no age limit on threat level. I mean, you can have a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old pull and start shooting at people. I mean, officers have an obligation to stop not only the threat, but to protect themselves and protect other people around them. And so, as unfortunate as it may be, those officers and those deputies did their job. When they saw somebody get out of that car with ballistic vest on, with helmets on, they have to stop the threat. And that's exactly what they did. And so they weren't wrong in doing that. But I don't want to take away from the trauma all around. One of the things that stuck out to me in that video was that this was a 15-year-old girl that came from a broken home. And so although she is wrong for shooting at officers, and this is not me making an excuse for her or anything like that, we don't know the backstory behind it as far as the trauma that she was receiving. Like, was she brainwashed? Was her dad forcing her to do this? And so she was equally wrong, and the officers did exactly what they had to do to stop that threat. But the way the media tried to play it up was this was some innocent 15-year-old girl who she got caught in the crossfire, and the deputies took her life, and they shouldn't have. That's kind of how it got played up, but it shouldn't have been that. This was a situation where the girl was a threat to deputies, the girl was a threat to other people in the area, as well as a suspect. They were shooting at officers, they were shooting at deputies during the pursuit, and they stopped the threat. But at the same time, there's still a lot of trauma with the family and the families of the officers, everybody involved in this situation. I just can't overemphasize that. Some of you guys are probably wondering why I'm like making a big deal out of it. It's just because, we all look at it, and there's two sides of every story from the standpoint of, like, there's the side of the officer. Well, this girl, she was a threat. She was shooting at officers. She had everything coming. Yeah, like, I can see why, if she, Lord forbid, she's trying to shoot at me and take me away from my family, like, yeah, absolutely. You got to do what you got to do. But at the same time, I do a lot of work with kids, and a lot of the stuff we see from kids is a result from broken homes. And the neighbor said it himself in that video. Like, when you come from a broken home, who knows where she was at mentally? Who knows if she was being brainwashed by her dad? But, the trauma of divorce, the trauma of parents going at it, there's a lot that goes into it. And so I really just empathize. I guess that's the word for it, is I empathize for everybody involved in this traumatic situation, from the deputies to the department to the girl to the little girl's brother, who's still alive. I mean, the little girl's brother now doesn't have a dad or a mom or a sister. So he just lost 3 people within 72 hours. So I guess what I'm getting to is, like, this was a sad situation. I hate that some media outlets try to make this seem like it was the deputy's fault immediately, because it wasn't. I mean, they had a job to do. They did their job right, and it is what it is. A girl comes out wearing ballistic vests, and it sounds like she was actually shooting at these deputies at one point in time. We're trained to stop the threat, and she was equally a threat to these officers. So they did what they had to do, and they got home. They're going home at the end of the night. But at the same time, it's just a tragic situation all around. So a lot of people are wondering what my take was on it and what I thought. But this is why it's important to wait for information to come out. This is why it's important for context. It's important to see, everything that happened and went into it and the aftermath. So that way you kind of understand with context whether or not a situation was right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't think that this situation is right from the standpoint of everybody loses, because the deputies, they have to sustain mental trauma for the rest of their lives. I don't think it's right on the situation for the girl that she was put in. She's homeless, living out of the car with her dad for 2 months. It's not right that this young boy is without a mom, a dad, or a sister now. So, I never want to make a situation sound like, oh man, these officers, they were extremely right. Everything was justified. They're going to go home at the end of the night and poof, great job. Yeah. Even though they did their job and they're trained to do their job and they did it effectively, everybody suffers in the end. So this is a part of police work that a lot of people don't realize, is that there is no winner of this situation. There is no winner, and that's what's sad. So, guys, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Tell me what your feelings are. But my prayers do go out for the deputies involved, the department. My prayers go out to the brother that's still alive and anybody that was directly or indirectly impacted by this situation. So do me a favor, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. If you guys like the content I bring to you, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and with that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and God bless.
Ryan Tillman, real talk, it's the truth.